welcome to this Wednesday Word of Wisdom. I'm so glad that you're joining me today.
Now, before we get really any further, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also read this on my blog or listen to it as a podcast on your favorite podcast provider. And hey, I'd love to connect with you on social media. My Facebook and Instagram links are right here.
The world we live in is really chaotic right now. And for a lot of us, it doesn't seem to matter what side we're on, what side of the argument, what side of the expectations, what side of the debate we're on. We are finding that we feel like we are constantly in a state of chaos. And today we're going to talk about some mindset shifts that we can make that help us to shift out of that chaos mindset. With all the change, with all the uncertainty, it's really not helpful for our overactive minds. There's so much worry going on. We're feeling dissatisfied. We're feeling overwhelmed, resentful, bitterness. We're experiencing things like loss of sleep, inability to just function the way we were used to being able to function because we're so stressed about what everybody else is or isn't doing. And we're getting ourselves worked up and part of the argument all the time. And you know what? You're not going to find contentment. You're not going to find joy. You're not going to find satisfaction in your life as long as you have this internal battle going on. To stop it, you have to actually stop listening to the chronic chaos that is taking place in your mind. The real key to feeling at peace and to living a life that feels satisfied, peaceful, happy, joyful is within you. The power is within you. And when you can recognize that your internal response to your life circumstances determines how you feel and think about your life and yourself and your circumstances, that's when you can start to make some change. So how do you actually stop? How do you actually calm that inner chaos? I mean, most of it boils down to perception. It's what we continually tell ourselves. What you continually tell yourself, that is what you are going to believe. And that's going to shape what you expect in your world. And it's going to determine what you focus on. And you know what? What you focus on grows, and what you focus on, you feel. So when we can start to change some of the inner narrative, we can start to change our world, our experience of our world. So every day, I want you to ask yourself some questions. When you get up in the morning, I want you to ask yourself, what do I need to let go of right now in order to experience calm and peace in my day? What I want you to do is ask yourself this question and start to think into what that brings up for you. And it can't be something that is outside of you in terms of like, if everybody else would just do this, if my spouse would just do this, if other people in the world would just do this, because those things are completely out of your control. You need to figure out what you need to let go of that is going to bring you calm. Not everything that we focus on do we need to be continuously focusing on. Not all information is valuable information. There are times when we need to stop looking for all the information, stop getting involved in all of the arguments, and bring peace into our life.
Get your daily dose of motivation on the Motivational Moments with Michelle podcast. In Motivation with Michelle podcast, you'll get encouraging, uplifting, and life-changing wisdom that will transform your world at your fingertips, 24 hours a day. Get a fuller, deeper revelation of the tools you can implement to see incredible transformation in your life from Michelle Neustadter's powerful teachings. Tune in whenever you need to be edified, uplifted, or a dose of motivation, no matter where you are. Subscribe to Motivational Moments with Michelle podcast with Michelle Neustadter today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud.
There is some value to that old adage of ignorance is bliss. When we can turn off the news and we can slow down the flow of information that is bombarding us every day, we can bring some peace back into our life. I also want you to ask yourself what you have to be grateful for. I want you to start to look at what is in your world right here, right now, that is good. I want you to start to become aware. Notice some of the things that are actually going on inside of you. The sort of physical responses that you have when your thinking goes to that chaos place, to that anxious place, to that, you start to feel that stress response in your body, right? Every thought that you have actually creates a physical response in your body. Your body releases those stress hormones, or serotonin or dopamine, or maybe it's releasing adrenaline into your system. And then you physically feel your feelings. And yet, you know what? How many times do we just allow our mind to go wherever it wants, and we don't take any control over the direction that it goes? When you start to pay attention to the physical response that your body has when your mind goes to that chaotic, negative place, we can start to actually take control of our thinking and our emotions. So start to look at what's happening. Where do you feel it? Are you feeling tension in your chest, in your tummy, in knots? Is your neck tense? What's going on in your physical body? Do you feel run down? Do you feel fatigued? Are you grumpy? These are all physical reactions that you are having to the thoughts that you are allowing to run rampant in your mind. When we can start to make intentional shift to that gratitude place, to that positive place, not silver lining. I've never been a fan of the silver lining. Too many times in our world, we start to fixate on just controlling things that we really have no control over. And all that does is cause fear and anxiety, because the more we try to control something that we actually can't control, the more out of control that we actually feel. So then, in order to try to feel more in control, we try even harder to control what we couldn't control in the first place. It's insanity. So instead, we need to start to look at what are we trying to control that we have no control over. Sometimes you're afraid to let go of the thoughts that you fixate on, because these things make you feel like you have that semblance of control in your world, and that if you let them go, that somehow you're also letting that go. So we'll worry, and worry by definition is typically about something in the future. And we think that worrying about it is somehow going to allow us to control the outcome of that. To create an immediate sense of inner calm and peace, we have to start a daily practice of letting go. We need to let go of the past challenges. We need to let go of the worries of the future that are constantly creating more stress and more overwhelm in our world. Really, the main key to managing your internal chaos and creating a peaceful mind is paying attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to where your mind automatically goes. Pay attention to the physical response that your body is creating, and don't blindly follow it. Take back your control.
Is there so much turmoil in your thinking that it feels like your mind is an actual battleground? You have trouble falling asleep because it just won't shut off? Or you wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep because of all the thoughts? Or maybe you notice that you worry all the time, constantly thinking about the worst case scenario, or all of the what ifs that could happen. And probably not getting the results that you would like in life, feeling like something needs to change. Well, that makes sense, because how we think determines whether we win or lose in life.
In the program De-Stress and Refresh, Michelle Newsetter will walk you through how to get back in control, or maybe get control for the first time, of our thoughts, our emotions, and the results we are getting in our lives. If you want tomorrow to be different than today, you're going to have to do something today to make tomorrow different. Otherwise, you don't have a new tomorrow, you simply have a longer today. Don't miss out. Go to extremeexcellence.ca and click De-Stress and Refresh.
To get into this revolutionary program, plus for a limited time, if you complete this program and give your testimonial, Michelle will even refund you 50% of your enrollment fee. What do you have to lose? Space is limited. Secure your spot today.